All right. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today, Creating a Competitive Advantage Amidst Chaos, the Power of an Integrated Talent Strategy. I'm Kari, and I am with SAP Fieldglass, and I will be your moderator today. Before we really get going, I would like to cover just a couple of quick housekeeping items. Today's session will be recorded. We will be sharing the link after the session is complete so that you can view it again at your leisure. Or we do encourage you to share that link as well with any colleagues who you think might be interested in this topic. We will be covering Q&A throughout the session, so if you, as a question arises, please don't wait. Go ahead and enter that into the Q&A box, and we will cover those questions at the conclusion of each section. So just to get us warmed up, we'd like to do a quick poll so that we can get a feel for how much experience our audience today has with MSPs and VMS. So if you can go ahead and click on your level of expertise, we'll just give you a minute and then we'll share the results and then we'll get going. Okay, just a couple more seconds. All right, so let me go ahead and share those results. So as you can see, we have a lot of the folks on the call can't have experience with both VMS and MSP, and then we do have some that have no experience with either, which is great. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's go over the agenda just really quickly. We have two very special guests with us today, both of whom are going to introduce themselves in more detail. But Mike is an external workforce management lead from our very valued customer, Roche Diagnostics. And Nicole is head of operations at our excellent managed service provider, Hayes Talent Solutions. So during today's webinar, we are going to be covering a background to Roche Diagnostics and their external workforce management journey, how and why they partnered with Hayes Talent Solutions to ensure the success of their program, the vital role that SAP Fieldglass played in scaling systems to respond to fluctuations in demand, how the right technology and collaboration built a crisis-proof strategy, and finally, what's on the horizon for Roche Diagnostics for the next 12 months and beyond. All right, so let's, So just to give you a little bit more introduction and background, as I said, my name is Kari Budry. I am a Global Solutions Manager for Services Procurement at SAP Fieldglass. I have over 20 years of experience in total talent and external workforce services and solutions, and I've been at SAP for about 3.5 years. If you're not familiar with SAP Fieldglass, we are a cloud-based vendor management system that helps organizations of all shapes and sizes in all industries all over the world manage their external workforce and refine their services procurement strategies. Nicole?
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello also from my side. My name is Nicole Knoblauch, and I'm happy to represent Hayes Talent Solutions today. Hayes Talent Solutions, in a nutshell, maybe designs and delivers workforce solutions and offers MSP and RPO services, as well as consultancy throughout the total workforce management. So from contingent as well as for permanent positions. So this contains, on one hand, the full end-to-end process of a recruitment event, including also active sourcing. And on the other hand, after the sourcing event, we manage contingent workers during their projects, or for permanent employees, we also support our HR colleagues with certain outsourced services for their employees. Maybe some words to myself. For 10 years now, I'm working in the area of human capital consultancy and recruitment. Started as a recruiter for IT specialists, and today I'm heading the operations for Hays Talent Solutions and oversee all our clients and services in Switzerland. In my role today, I develop solution designs for our clients, but of course afterwards also ensure that all the services are implemented and delivered as agreed. And I'm also very much focused on trends and innovation in the market to thrive operational excellence and bringing our program and services also to the next level. Roche is my client for 7 years now, and I started collaboration with Roche Diagnostics almost 4 years ago now, and this is also where I met Mike. But now I'd like to hand over to Mike to introduce yourself.
So thank you very much, Nicole. So my name is Mike Hofman. I'm working for Roche Diagnostics International in Switzerland. Roche Diagnostics International is one of the world's leading providers of diagnostic systems for hospitalities, laboratories, doctors' practices. We invest in research and development relating to innovations, tests, and systems for the rapid and reliable diagnosis of diseases. And Roche Diagnostics is the largest manufacturer of fully automated in vitro diagnostic systems in Switzerland. Some words about myself. So my name is Mike Hofman, like I mentioned. I'm the program lead of external workforce management in Roche Diagnostics. So really focused on the management of contractors, so temp labor. So we're working with Fieldglass and also with our most valued partner, Hays Talent Solutions together. So, and yes, since 70 years now, I'm there, and I'm really happy to show you my journey, to talk a little bit about our journey, how we developed, and how everything changed really fast. So I'm happy just to continue there. So if you could move to the next slide. So I started 2015 working at Roche, and you have to imagine, like when I started, we didn't have a lot of aligned process or integrated systems or anything. So we really had a lot of manual work to do. So we have manual request forms. So you have to imagine like Word documents and also spreadsheets. So for example, a business had the need for a contractor position. So they had to fill in different Word documents and then also get the DOA approval, so that the budget approval was also by a form, like a Word document. And we had candidate tracking in an Excel spreadsheet, which was like really time consuming. So you always had to really go to the spreadsheet and say like, oh, this candidate, we unfortunately cannot consider this candidate for our job posting and so on. So there was a lot of work, and we had a lot of multiple data maintenance. So we had this Word document, we had the spreadsheet, and we had a tool for job advertising, so job posting to the suppliers. We had another tool for really onboard the external partners. Means like going to SAP, so not Fieldglass, another SAP systems environment, to really give them access to our system so they can work for us. We also had this finance system where you had to manually create your purchase orders, and also really always to adjust timesheets to these purchase orders really all manually. So there was no integration at all. So all standalone tools. And the biggest one, it sounds really silly a little bit, but was this timesheet process. So you have to imagine every contractor was batching their time, so for the whole month, right? So they went to a system, downloaded this sheet, printed it out, went to the line manager, there was a red signature, and then they needed to send it by email to the supplier. So imagine if you have like 400 contractors, that's a lot of work, not only for them, but also for the business. So we decided to do something, and then going forward to 2017, there we started to think like, what are the first steps we can do to improve our processes? So we decided to build a technology, but self-made, let's say. We used SharePoint. But the problem was with SharePoint was still not really integrated. It was a standalone tool as well. a big benefit was, like, for example, we didn't use the spreadsheets anymore to track candidates. So this was at least in one system. That was good. And also this DOA approval was done with workflows in our own build solution. But still, it was not the solution we were looking for, because you still had this multiple data maintenance, because there was no integrations to other systems. So still the same issue with this timesheet, still the same issues with a lot of duplicate work and so on. So you can see, like, still some familiars between 2015 and 17, too many manual work. So we said, that cannot be the solution, so we moved ahead to 2019. We decided to implement SAP Fieldglass solution. So with SAP Fieldglass solution, we really had the benefit to have an end-to-end process. So we are really happy that this Fieldglass solution exists. It made our life much easier. So we didn't use another tool to have a job posting. We do not have another tool for creating the purchase order. There's another tool where you need to, I don't know, have a DOA approval. So it's all done in one system and saves a lot of time. So that was awesome. And you also had a lot more of transparency, because you do not have multiple tools to use. If only one tool, it means like all the data is in one place, which gives you a much more transparency, and also reduce the risk that some data will be incorrect. So that was really nice, or is still really nice. But the best one was really this solution integration. Like, it was connected to other systems. For example, probably a lot of people know Workday. So our Workday is still used for having the account that people can work on the laptop and so on. So Fieldglass has direct integration to Workday, or direct integration to our finance system, which works really well. And also the timesheet process. All is automated, no printout anymore, no emails necessary anymore. It's all in one system. So that's really nice. And but I really have to highlight as well that without a great partner like Hays Talent Solutions, this would not be possible, because they had all the knowledge we needed. They had a lot of experience, and also helped us a lot to really also increase the process, so more efficiency, and helped us with a lot of expertise, and they're still doing it. So we're really grateful to have them. And but yes, that's about our journey. But I'd like to hand over to Nicole to give some insight. So I can imagine some other clients or customers or other companies had similar issues or challenges.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really had to smile when you were talking about the journey, because I really remembered when we started our workshops a few years ago, and you explained me the processes and the 5-6 different tools. And yes, do we really have to manually enter the same information here and here again? And you confirmed. So yeah, it was really funny now to remember back these times and to see where we are today. But yes, you're right. We do have the same experience also with other clients in Switzerland, because yeah, many businesses face similar talent gaps where they also have to leverage contractors to either fill the gaps for skill know-how, or also for sickness or other reasons. And we kind of always see that most of them really struggle to manage the contractors, because even though it's really crucial to have a solid standard process also for contractors, they still sit outside of the traditional HR and procurement system. And that's the challenge with almost all our clients, at least what I see in Switzerland and a few other countries that we're already worked with. But Kari, I think as you have really the global view, you can maybe also share some global market insights here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, interestingly, at SAP, we've definitely seen organizations increase their use of external labor over the last couple of years. And in fact, in our newly published Economist report, a partnership with SAP, 50% of all respondents stated that they would be continuing to increase the use of external labor. So this really confirms what we're seeing in the market, which is that this trend is going to continue to increase. And yeah, many of the challenges that Michael spoke about, we hear from others other companies all over the world, especially the amount of unnecessary manual labor due to disparate systems and lack of integrations. So Mike, was it fair to say that you were looking for a better way to source and manage these external workers? And how did you begin that process?
Yes, so thank you. So I have to be honestly saying that our colleagues in Germany already used SAP Fieldglass as the first one. So we had like a little bit benefit, so we can sneak a little bit and see like how it works. So that was great. But why did we decide to also move ahead with Fieldglass was really that this whole thing I already mentioned with this all integration, which is possible to reduce the manual work, which also reduce kind of the amount of mistakes which could happen with manual work. But also that there is like a custom settings, so you can really, based on your needs, you can have different settings. So for example, in Germany, they have different legislation, different rules, different compliance topics than we have in Switzerland. So that means like also the system needs different settings, so that was possible, which I really appreciate. And also this whole sourcing functionality, right, where you have these different possibilities, however you want to set it up. So you can set it up by group, and then you define some suppliers per each group. And then you can also say like, okay, you want to have first tier, second tier, third tier, whatever, maybe 10 tiers, depends what you want. So this is also really good, because then if you have job postings, you just send it out, there's not much work. And then also this timesheet tracking, I'm absolutely a fan of that, because this was a lot of work, and now it just really fits to the system and always fits to the purchase order, and you always can see also summary how many hours are worked, how much spent is left, and so on. So that was absolutely something we were looking for. But also like really then control your finance aspect. So everything all in once made us to decide to really go with Fieldglass. But like I mentioned already, Fieldglass alone would not really help us. So only the combination of this great system solution, but also like a great partner like Case 10 solution, helped us really to improve our whole ecosystem. And why Case 10 solution? So also there, they were already working in some areas with us, and then we saw like it really works really good. So so customers are really happy, business is happy, the satisfaction is really high. So we said like, yeah, so we should move ahead. And I can only confirm today, we're still really happy, and we made the right decision. But enough about me. I like to hand over to Nico, because you were like there with us, right? From the start, since we implemented Fieldglass, and you were really close also to the process and so on. So I hand over to you to give and share some insights.
Yeah, thank you. And now that you also mentioned Germany, so I was also lucky that I was also able to support Germany with the integration or with the rollout and implementation of the MSP and VMS in Germany. So I already had some insights and best practices then also that I could take with us for our implementation in Switzerland. And I'm happy that we find the right solution for your business also in Switzerland. But maybe also to mention that having the automated interfaces, of course, helped a lot, really a lot, to increase stakeholder satisfaction by maximizing compliance and transparency, and also, of course, significantly reduce cycle times. So as you mentioned, the automated timesheet to invoice integration, especially the full automated accruals reporting and integration and invoicing process, that was a huge effort, decrease not only for the hiring managers, but also for our finance colleagues. But I maybe also want to highlight that besides the technology, it was also key to implement standards and standard processes. So when we did all our workshop at the beginning and went live, we implemented standard processes and standard documentation really throughout the full end-to-end process, and provided hiring managers, suppliers, and contractors with process and tool trainings. That was really key. Also, to get them on board with the new system and new processes. And also today we conduct regular satisfaction surveys to proactively ask for feedback and do regular internal process workshops also and reviews with our team to further improve processes or also the tool. Because also in a daily business, we can work really close with our Fieldglass IT colleagues, and especially if there are bigger releases, that we're really close and learn more about new features and functionalities to always improve our processes and tool. What was also really essential was that we were able with this technology to implement standard templates in Fieldglass. I think that's most of the highlights as well. So for every job profile, we implemented rates per seniority grades and so benchmark rates. And with that, we were able now to ensure that similar rates to the same roles. So whenever we hire a contractor, we can really consult the hiring manager on what is a realistic rate now. And also, of course, the competitive environment with our tiering setup helps a lot to bring and achieve also great savings, which of course is always an important topic. And I think maybe one last aspect, I think, is also the supplier management I would like to talk about, which is also, of course, an important part of the service. So on one hand, we're talking about the operational day-to-day collaboration with our partners. So here we really work close with our partners to ensure that the needs our hiring managers have, so especially having enough and especially highly qualified candidates, are fulfilled. So this is only possible if we also provide them with regular feedbacks on our overall recruitment process, for example. Which is possible in Fieldglass as we can use chat functionalities directly with the suppliers to give infos and updates either to all the suppliers or just to single suppliers. And which is all what is also really appreciated by the supplier is that Fieldglass gives us the functionality that we can reject or change statuses, not only overall about the processes of a recruitment process, but also per candidates. So we can give a great overview and rejection reasons for the suppliers that they can also improve and know or have some feedback for their candidates. So this is the supplier management maybe on an operational base. And on the other hand, it's also important to have really a supplier management if it comes to more, when we're talking about supplier development maybe, and performance review meetings. So as we do have all this information in the system, we can of course also report all this information out of the system. So we're able to produce quarterly scorecard meetings scorecards that we provide the supplier with, and we conduct bi-yearly meetings on site, or now during the corona also of course online, where we can help them to sit together and talk about their performance and their challenges, or also room for improvements. And overall, we also support Roche with yearly tiering reviews. So also based on the metrics that we can pull out of Fieldglass, we can support here with giving insights and to ensure that we have the right supplier in the right tier per skill category to fulfill our hiring managers' needs. Yeah, so maybe a lot of information, but there's so many important and interesting topics on how to organize and optimize such a program. And I hope I was able to give some examples from the daily business to show that it's important to have a very good mix between, so an interaction between a very good technology, but also good process management and continuous improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. We often find our customers choosing to partner with an MSP for exactly those reasons that you've mentioned. MSPs are specialists who bring expertise in external workforce management, supplier management, and that helps free up our customers' internal resources to focus on their core business. So let's actually now do another quick poll to see if others have experienced any of the similar struggles or pain points that Roche had experienced. So if you can go ahead and select if you have any of the items listed here as your challenges for your organization. We'll give you just a minute and then we'll display the results. I'm not seeing any results in the poll. Oh, there we go. It's updating. Give it about 10 more seconds. All right. So I'll go ahead and share the results here. It looks like we have the primary issues that others are struggling with are integrations, a lack of operational expertise, and then missing sourcing strategy, which is consistent with what we at SAP Fieldglass see is the challenges for some of our customers out there. So let's go ahead now and open up for Q&A. And I see we have just a couple of questions here. So first question is to Mike. Can you share your lessons learned in regards to the implementation of Fieldglass and the new processes?
Sure, I'm happy to. So there are so many, but I try to not take too long. So really important is that you really have the as-is process, and that means like including all the systems which you have in place, and also all the other processes which are not in systems, so outside of the systems. That you take this as is, and then you take what you like to have. And for example, if you decide for Fieldglass, then you need to really validate, like seeing like, okay, that's what we have now. The other system works differently. So what do we have to take over? What do we need to change? How we can really reduce some work and make some processes more efficient. That's really important. And take your partner from the beginning. So like Nicole was there and had a lot of expertise. So that was really helpful. And she was also joining the sessions we have to really understand the as-is and to-be process and how it could be, and also bring all the important stakeholders together, if it's finance, if it's procurement, if it's P&C. So they have all different expertise and all different view. So bring them all together, and then you kind of can ensure that there's nothing missing. And yeah, of course, that's the main one. And there are a lot of others, but I think like from a start, that's the key.
Great, thank you, Mike. I think we have one other question, but I'm gonna hold, it's not quite relevant to this last section, so we'll hold that to the end, just in the interest of time. All right, Nicole.
Yes. So I think the important part now. So yes, the crisis-proof strategy. So right after our quite successful implementation, we really just had a few months in the business as usual when we faced the challenge that I think, yeah, all companies globally had when COVID-19 kicked in our life. And of course, Roche Diagnostics was a very important player to support this crisis. And Mike, maybe you can give some background here first.
Yes, thank you very much. So luckily, Roche Diagnostics was able to support the world with our diagnostic systems, right, to fight against COVID, I would say. But because of this, we also faced the challenge that we need more contractors. So we had, for Roche Diagnostics in Switzerland, we needed to ramp up 250 contractors in 6 months, which was a huge challenge, right? It's a lot. So we were happy that we already implemented Fieldglass and already worked with our great partner, Hays Talent Solution. So we were ready for this and really had the capacity to bring this 250 in this short time to Roche, and this really smoothly. But Nicole, you're right, you were really more closely to the operational part than me. So I would like to hand over that so you get the insights from someone which was really close to it.
Yeah, thank you. Because I remember, I think I was sitting next to you when I heard the first information. I think we're going to hire, or we need to hire 50 contractors in a very short period. And then I said, okay, 50 contractors, yeah, we can manage. And I was like, no, it's not 50, it's 250. And I said, oh, wow. Okay, let's sit together and make a plan. So I think for the sourcing process itself, we were quite ready when the request came, because Fieldglass easily supports this kind of volume sourcing activities, as there is no limitation if it comes to the amount of contractors or candidates that you can submit to the tool. And also still, as you can select, as I said, every status per candidate, and have great reporting options. We always kept a very good overview, even though we had hundreds and hundreds or thousands of candidates to fill this position. But what we saw really was a challenge in how shall we coordinate hundreds of interviews while having, of course, very busy hiring managers, because on parallel, they had to onboard all these contractors and do training sessions with them. So here I have to say really important was this close collaboration, of course, also with the departments, and they really well organized themselves. So we had just a few main contacts that we had in the daily business. They helped us with the candidate screening, with the interviews, and also the team allocation in the background then. But still, it was a crazy amount of interviews. So we saw it's not doable for the line managers to do them all themselves. So we started with supporting them by conducting interviews ourselves. So my team conducted interviews, and we first recorded it, and then we sent the records to the hiring managers. But then also we saw, oh, that's just not doable. It's just a huge volume. So we decided to implement or to use the HR tool, and it was an online video tool that we then implemented in a short period together with our HR colleagues, and it was really a huge benefit, because it was the hiring manager were then able to really just check the videos that we did whenever they had free time during the day, and save them a lot of time. And also for the onboarding, that was also maybe important from a process perspective. We decided to have fixed start dates for the contractors, and of course also we had to create standard trainings sessions. So for the first week for the new starters. And also here I saw it was amazing how the departments worked together. So no matter if it was IT or HR, they all enabled us to ensure a really flexible and fast onboarding when it comes to IT equipment, badges, etc. I think another challenge that we faced was the more during the project, because of course the contractors needed to work shifts and weekends, which also needed to be reflected in the timesheet calculation when it comes to surcharges, for example. And the shift thing was already implemented, luckily, because shift was already part of some departments. So here it was just important to be in close contact with the line managers, because the shift changed sometimes from week to week or from month to month. But the challenge was more having surcharges for weekend work, because Roche decided, which was really great, to treat the contractors here as their internal, and they paid similar or the same surcharges to their contractors as for their employees. So of course, this was not implemented in the standard Fieldglass system yet. And here we were also able to create a workaround in obviously an Excel template, but we pulled standard reports out of Fieldglass, created a kind of a magic macro template, and then worked close with the IT colleagues to create upload templates to then pull all these miscellaneous invoices into the system to do the invoicing. So with this workaround that we had within a week or two, we were then able to produce hundreds of miscellaneous invoices in not even a half an hour per month. So that was also maybe one challenge that we faced pretty good. But I think besides these kind of examples, I would say that we were already really well prepared for this kind of crisis, even though it was not meant to be like that. But with an integration, with the integrated system at the moment, so we have the creation of the personal ID, so for the onboarding, the purchase order in the background, the contract is created automatically, the invoicing is automatically. So we're really happy that we already had this in place because that was really helpful in this crisis time. Maybe anything else from your end, Mike? Something important that I forgot?
No, thank you for all these insights. So I just can agree on all what you said, and I just want to say, like, so thank you for everything as a partner. I mean, you did much more than it was expected to be. Like, you didn't care about what was in our agreements, whatever. So you went beyond. You provided more resources in a really short time without any complications or something. So we would not be able to really have this crisis solved without a great partner. So thank you very much. And I really want to highlight, I was also impressed how much and how fast you had a deep understanding of the Roche needs and job profiles, because all companies use in our days now different namings and so on. You know how it works in big companies, so you have special job posting titles and so on. So I was really impressed how fast you get so much knowledge. And also, like, that we did these sessions with managers in the business, so people want to really understand, hey, what is this product about? I want to understand, so I have a better feeling for the job posting. So all of this together was not meant to be, but it really helped us with this crisis. So that was great. But I just want to also ask Kari, like, did you have similar challenges, or did you see similar challenges with other Fieldglass clients or something else?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been such an incredible few years, and we really saw a lot of clients move from a focus on compliance and cost savings to a much more strategic view of their external workforce. I mean, of course, cost savings is still important to many, but we've seen a huge spike in customers who are way more interested in business resilience, workforce agility. They're looking at emergency management and disaster recovery. They're concerned with worker quality and holistic workforce management. And that's the great thing about VMS technology in general, and Fieldglass especially. When it's properly implemented and managed, which clearly it was here, it can really deliver on all of those priorities. So I think, let me just pause and see if we have any additional questions here. Nope, no new questions. So looking to the future, Mike, what's on the horizon for Roche?
Thank you very much. So there's many things on our plate. So many things we're looking into it. One of the key topics is, of course, global sourcing opportunities. There it's always like the challenge. You have these legal things you have to consider, the compliance, and all countries have different regulations, especially when it comes to external workforce. But we're looking into it. What can we do? How we can extend to our global sourcing. But we're also looking at alternative workforce solutions, right? So the world is changing all over again all the time. So maybe in, I don't know, 10 years, you don't have contractors anymore. It's called, I don't know, whatever it's called. And there's something going around with gig workers, just as an example. And we just want to see like what alternatives in the future will exist and what will come up. But one of our highlights, of course, is the total workforce strategy. That means like we really want to bring, so a lot of companies, also we do, is like you have your internal strategy for internal headcount, and then you have your external workforce management, looking for contractors or sometimes also for consultants and so on. And we really want to bring this together, right? So have a total workforce strategy. We don't want to speak anymore from contractors, so you go there, intern, you go there. We will bring this together, use the synergies, and also make decision based on facts and transparency, which we also working on with more insight, but not about external workers or internal. It should be combined. So to make really the decisions on facts. It's something we're looking into it. And we also want to bring the MSP closer to our P&C. So P&C for us, it's HR. To use the synergies, they have different knowledge in different ways, so bring them together, use the synergies and the knowledge they have, and they can share it together. But of course, like all others do, like we do at the moment, is that the talent shortage we have, and we're struggling it at the moment. So that's one of our priorities at the moment, but it comes all together with this total workforce strategy as well. So we are investigating a lot to how can we manage this challenge. But yeah, I mean, we are not the only one. So Nicole, can you say like, how do you deal with this talent shortage topic at the moment?
Yeah, we really see it for different profiles and different clients. And of course, there is not this solution, but some ideas and what we see that helps in the daily business is, it sounds very easy, but starting really with a very good expectation management during the first requirements analysis. So luckily, our operations specialists in the sourcing, so the sourcing partners for the hiring managers, they know exactly the market for the profiles we're looking for. And they already challenge the hiring managers once they come with a huge list of must-have criteria to really make them aware that we really have to focus on what is really important here. Second is an early demand planning, because also we can enable the suppliers to build candidate pools. So maybe there are candidates that are not available today, but already committed then for the next project in maybe 6 months, where we will have another need for this kind of position again. I think a big topic that all clients are currently working on is the diversity and inclusion. So also one action is that we really go through the job description to also attract more female candidates, which again increases the candidates market. So maybe just a few ideas on what we're currently working on. Yeah, but I think maybe I have also, it's almost time is almost over. So Kari, maybe I hand back to you, that if you maybe have some further insights or what other clients are doing and for optimizing their programs.
Yeah, I mean, so, we're seeing exactly the same trends that you're seeing, Nicole. I mean, it's across industries. Yes, of course, healthcare, public sector, but really every industry, they're, streamlining processes, focusing on total workforce, optimizing supply base, all the things we've talked about already. So I just want to leave a little bit of time here for any additional questions. Let's just go ahead and double check that Q&A. All right. One question. So, Mike, how did you deal with contractors that were not able to work because of COVID?
So during the pandemic, we as much as possible, we treated them like the same as internal. So for example, during the lockdowns, right, they will probably have to take care about children. They were at home, schools are closed. So we decided to do the same like for internal. So if they were not able to work 8 hours, right, and they should work 8 hours in theory, we just paid them 8 hours and they worked 6 hours or something like that. So that's what we did for the interns. So we did the same for contractors, or like with the surcharges Nicole already mentioned. So for us, it was really important that we treat them in the same way, because it doesn't matter. They are our partners. Of course, if there was something legally which was not possible, we didn't do it. But for the rest, we did all the same. And also, like, we tried to keep every contractor during the pandemic. So we didn't want to end the engagement contract with them, because in the hard times, so we kept them to really take our social responsibility. So that's what we did.
That's awesome. I think that says a lot about your organization. All right, we're right at time, and I think that's about it. We don't have any more questions. I'd just like to thank everyone again today who joined and contributed to this excellent session. We will, again, be sending out a recording of the webinar to everyone who registered. And if anyone has any further questions at all, or really anything that you need, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of the contacts that you see there on the screen directly. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.